The General Banter Podcast with Paul and Jedis.
What's happening, people? Welcome to the General Banter Patreon bonus material. It's the Q&A. Not really a quickfire Q&A, more of a guided chat. More of a guided podcast, guided by your beautiful questions. Just got wrapped up with a podcast with Dylan Osborne. That's also available on the Patreon if you want to listen to that. And you're some sort of fucking tech nerd, because that's kind of what it was about. You know, if you're a budding creator / influencer and you're like, how do I professionally take shots of my anus? Great podcast to listen to. And we'll jump right in. We got Ryan Doyle here, food shits versus milk shits in a nappy, discuss. Now, he's obviously referring to the fact that we have a relatively new baby. Well, he's 8 months old now, it's not that new, but there is a pivotal moment in raising a child where you start sort of getting a bit of solid food in there, and the shits absolutely do change. And I remember changing nappies like earlier in his career, and it would be like a fucking curry half and half, and people are like, oh fuck, you have no idea, wait till he eats solid food. And I'll be honest with you, I prefer the solid food shits, because it's like picking a dog shit up versus trying to clean up a full pot of chicken korma that you spilt on the kitchen floor. At least if he does the food shits, they're more of a solid shit, and you can just fucking lift it right up there. Although it is quite impressive to see some of the shits that a baby does. And then, I don't know why I'm surprised at all, but like, is that the fucking noise of that computer? What a loud computer. You're surprised by the size of these shits, and then you remember, oh yeah, I fed him like, scrambled eggs, then sweet potato, and then broccoli and shit. Things that are designed by Jesus and God to make you shit real hard. And sometimes you mistime it. You're like, has he done a shit? And he's done like the first eighth of a shit, and you go to change the nappy, and then all of a sudden, surprise, surprise, the baby's growing a tail. And that's a fucking disaster always, when you're trying to contain that. Shitting all over the place. But anyway, great place for the podcast to start today. Talking about baby shits. But there are, I remember whenever the baby was taking the transition between breastfeeding and being bottle fed, and of course there's a change there too, and he was kind of not shitting at all for about 5 days, and then I've told this story in the podcast before, but like, there was one night that will haunt my dreams forever, where he started shitting and just did not stop for quite some time. And we were just running through nappies, packet after packet of wipes. It was a disaster. It was Shitegate 2019. Talal Jomar, shout out to that guy. When writing new material before taking it to stage, do you try it out on fellow comedians, friends and family first, or do you try it out in the likes of Lavery's first? Well, you get to a certain stage where like you're fairly confident in what's going to work for you. You do get to a point where you're like, yeah, that's obviously something I would talk about and it's going to work. But sometimes if it is on just the verge of decency, you'll run it by a comedian and you'll be like, can I say the N-word 3 times in this joke? And they'll be like, yeah, you go for it. If you were to ask anyone else, friends or family, they'd be like, absolutely not. Black Lives Matter. But, if you speak to a comedian, they usually give you that false confidence, like, because they kind of in the back of their mind want to see you crash and burn too. So they're like, yeah, fucking right, you can say that. You can do an abortion joke in front of this crowd, no problem. And you go ahead and do it. But no, you're not sitting there with like a book in front of you going like, here, Granny, would you hear this? I was fingering my wife. You know what I mean? You don't do that. Do you think it would be a good idea, is from Sam, do you think it would be a good idea to legalize all drugs and control the supply and quality? I think of it like the bootlegging days in America. The government obviously knows people are doing drugs, selling, buying, etc. And the cartels are getting bulk coin. I'm just going to make this bigger instead of going blind here. I reckon would be better to legalize it and just control the amount of people or the amount people can get, and obviously the quality, so cunts aren't ODing. Here in Australia, they did a thing where at festivals, they tested your pills, which was good kind of, but drugs are still illegal. I thought surely if they're testing the people's pills and they're illegal, they should just be taken off them and the user fined or whatever because they're illegal. A bit strange to me. Just want to hear your thoughts. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, you only have to look at America, where it's like some states you could have a small piece of weed and go to jail for fucking, a decade, or the next state over they legalized it and their fucking economy is through the roof through like weed tourism and stuff like that, where they're making serious fucking bank. But obviously it would be way less shady if it was all legal, yeah. And I think in places like Australia at a festival or something like that, people are gonna be taking pills, but the majority of people might have bought them before they got there. You know what you really want to get rid of at something like that is someone who has fucking like bags of them in a suitcase. If someone's turned up and they've got a wee baggie with like 4 pills in it, you're like, right, okay, that'll do you the weekend. But we'll test them to make sure that you're not gonna fucking drop dead while you're here dancing to fucking Skrillex. Shout out to Skrillex. Imagine having a career that was just in one type of music, which fucking came and went in like 6 months. Remember the dubstep era? Jesus Christ. I just opened a tab there where I'd been Googling Terry Nutkins, which is funny. Let me see what Skrillex remixes there are out there. Skrillex. Real name, Stephen Relax. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's Scary Monster. That was their OG one, was it? This is the OG one that got
Here
everybody. This is probably gonna get me fucked off the internet, but sure. I'll just play 2 seconds of it. We've got an ad playing now. For fuck, is that Tom Hanks on a boat again? You think he'd have learned after the last one, right? No thanks. Yeah. You're just waiting for the drop, aren't you?
Oh my god!
And there's only a few uses for music like that. One of them is, cars drifting, and you put footage of the cars drifting with that in the background. And that's it, really. I don't know what other purpose that. I mean, you drop that in the middle of a fucking DJ set, people are like, "What I do to this music? Have a fucking seizure? Who knows?" Big fan of Skrillex? No. Skrillex, like. Skrillex looking like he's in fucking Bob's Burgers. You know what I mean? His glasses and his hair. God bless him. I wonder what he's doing now. You could you could probably get Skrillex to your birthday party for 300 quid now. And you'd have to pretend you give a fuck. Look who we got for you, Skrillex, doing a DJ set. You're like, oh, cool. Can you play any fucking bicep for me? But yeah, I'm pretty sure all drugs should be legal. You just gotta monitor it. Also, you could make money, and there's probably a safe way to do most drugs recreationally. No one, maybe not like heroin. You maybe shouldn't be doing like recreational heroin. But then again, if a doctor will give you fucking fentanyl or whatever in America, and that shit, you know what I mean? You'll take a fentanyl and then have, half a Bud Light and fucking die. So you're like, what, is it really that fucking dangerous? You know what I mean? There's plenty of people die every year from drinking, and it's still legal. You can literally walk into a Spar and buy like a fucking liter or something and drink it quick enough and just die. When people are buying each other that for their birthday, there you go, bro. Got you a liter of whiskey. Watching them die. For fuck's sake. And yeah, making it legal means a lot of fucking dodgy cunts are kind of out of a job. But they'd find something else, you know what I mean? If it wasn't drugs, it'd be something else. But then, what would the governments have to lie over? You know what I mean? Where's Mickey Bartlett when you need him for a conspiracy theory? Have you watched Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix? Some weird stories. I actually watched the first one, if anyone's seen it, where there was like this couple got married and the guy, you know, had started in business with his mate and everything, and he was just at home one day and he just ran out of the house and went missing. And then eventually they tracked down his car and they searched the buildings around it and they found a hole in like the top of this hotel roof or something, and they assumed that he fucking was thrown or jumped off another roof and went through this lower roof and just landed in a room, and he just went like feet first through this tiny hole apparently. So I don't know. And then basically they never figured it out. They're like, why is he dead? Why did he leave the house? Why did he leave this weird note and everything? So, but yeah, weird as fuck. And it would be the weirdest shit of all time. I felt sorry for the woman, to be honest. You know, she was like, oh, this is my husband, and we're like newly married, and then the next minute he goes missing and people are trying to figure out like where the fuck he's went. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? But also, if you watch that first episode, they were like, how on earth did this guy get from here to here? We don't think he could jump that far. And you're like, just have a physicist work that out. You know, he's obviously moving at a certain speed and has a certain distance to fall. I'm sure he could, like, you know, jump to the next building and go through it. I don't know, it's all fucked up. But that one was pretty freaky, and then the next one was like something about aliens, and you know, straight away it seemed like way too fucking contrived and American. And especially with aliens, you're like, fucking show me the video or go fuck yourself, you know what I mean? I don't need to see that. You can't make a full documentary with some guy going, well, basically, if I recall correctly, I saw a UFO here when I was 6. And you're like, could it have been absolutely anything else, you 6-year-old fucking hick? Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway. Right, here we go. Phil Curl, is that your name? If she and Todd tried to touch up young Aaron McCann in a gay way, of course, how do you think he'd take it, apart from up the jam roll? What great questions. I think he'd drop him on the spot with a headbutt. Love The Office and the podcast keep her lit. Well, that was a whole load of information at once. I don't know. Fucking those comedians, everyone's fucking touching each other and slapping each other in the dick and, you know, slapping each other's arse and kissing each other. You know what I mean? It's pretty gay anyway. So I don't know if anyone would be able to distinguish between a sexual assault and just a bit of banter. Which, of course, is fine between consenting male friends. That's what you gotta be. You gotta be super homoerotic and gay around your straight friends to let them know how straight you are. You know, I'm like, fuck, I'm not gay. I'll fucking slap you in the raw cock. I've seen Dave Elliott's cock more times than I care to think about. It's grey, you know. On Rathlin Island, woke up in the morning, thought I was the only one up, crept downstairs to get some water. You know, I hear the bathroom door open, and he's waiting there for me to walk past. And, you know, I can just see him through the gap in the wall, or in the door even, and there he is, cock out. Yeah, just all these people are, you know, sending dick pics to each other. You know what I mean? It's gay as shit. But, yeah, Aaron's too thick to realise what's even going on. He's also fully 3 times the size of Shane, so who knows, if he wanted to get violent, maybe he would, but he's not that type of guy, you know what I'm saying? Colin Borland. I see in the pic, young Eddie has started to develop sufficient neck muscle control and coordination to lift and hold his head up. Because of the proportionally oversized infant head, it takes a minimum of 6 to 12 months for the head to stop lolling from side to side. He'd be drinking Captain Morgan's and Kahlua, ordering Giuseppe's pizza, and not podcasting before you know it. I don't know what the fuck that means. Is that some other reference to Aaron McCann? I mean, yeah, he's fairly well on as a baby. You know what I mean? He's got teeth. He can move his head. He can near enough walk if you just hold his hand. Like it's insane. I don't know what that meant. Just heard Gray McDowell and Rory Mack on the sports news. Fuck me. What's going on with their accent? It near made me bug. Posh cunts. Let's just remind ourselves what those accents. How do you spell that? I like to enjoy cold beer. Oh yeah, here's a cold beer remix. This is hilarious, actually.
Who is G-Mac? I don't know. He's Irish. He plays a little golf.
Plays a little golf. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Beer from time to time. He likes to hang out
a cold beer from time to time.
Just can't be himself, really. So my hobbies outside of golf. I'm a big sport fan. I love all sports. Mainly football, British football, or soccer, as you guys like to call it.
Oh my God. Big fan of football. British football, soccer as you like to call it.
Football, British football, or soccer, as you guys like to call it. I'm a big Manchester United fan. But, all sports, TV, going to the events, movies, just hanging out really, I mean, golf's such a busy life out there. I just love to come home and chill out, drink a couple of beers and relax. My favorite movie...
Big man for the beers, G-Mac.
There's so many...
Just everything is chilling out with beers.
Favorite movie I've watched lately would probably...
I like to watch Man United, English soccer team, and, fucking chill out a couple of beers. Movies-wise, I like to watch Transformers and stuff like that, and maybe chill out a couple of beers.
Be Social Bear. That was awesome. My favorite superhero would be Batman. He's got all the toys, he's got all the cars. He drinks the odd beer from time to time.
He drinks the odd beer from time to time? Oh, Christ.
Superpower. I guess teleportation would be great. We travel so much on the golf
Superpower. Teleportation would be great.
tour.
If I was him and I heard myself talk on film, I would just be like, from then on, the mysterious golf guy. Where's he from? Who knows? He never speaks.
If I could get myself a cold beer within an instant, that would save some time.
I enjoy a cold beer. What a fucking freak. I mean, I would nearly prefer like you just changed your whole accent instead of being like, chill, man, have a couple of cold beers. I'm from Coleraine. Weird. But yeah, it's the fucking there's nothing funnier than a mixed accent, and there's nothing funnier than if it's half of that accent is from Northern Ireland, because it fucking just fucks everything else up. You see, there's a lot of Eastern European people in Northern Ireland, and they're all like fucking, I went to the shop the other day and fucking bought myself a packet of chewing gum. So with it, you're like, oh my God, what's going on? Rebecca, as far as becoming new parents, has been on top of everything else. You guys have powered through this year. Respect. What would be your best advice, tips on how to support new parents from your experience so far? One of the couples in our friend group are having a baby next month and will be the first in my close circle of friends to have a baby. Is there anything that you would recommend doing or buying to help out the new parents? Or what should be avoided that people sometimes think is helpful but is actually not? Well, it depends how close you are with them. If you're really close with people, I've noticed this in a lot of life events, whether it's around like a fucking funeral, or someone's had a baby, or someone's done some other shit. The best thing to do is don't bother people with asking them what can you do, because most people just default mode will go, oh no, we're grand, sure, we're all right. If you want to do something, just fucking turn up. You know what I mean? Just you could like do a little bit of a shopping or something and just land round and be like, here, I got you some bits. Or fucking just you could just land round and offer to help in any way, shape or form, because what normally happens is you ask someone, can you call around, and they're like, yeah, okay, and then they have a fucking panic and they trying to clean up, and it causes more stress a lot of time. My advice would be just like, You can really just ring someone and be like, I'm on my way here, or I'm passing your house. Do you want me to call in and fucking give you a hand or something? You just gotta throw yourself in the mix rather than giving someone the admin of trying to organize a trip around you, basically. So yeah, I would do that. What can you buy people? Maybe just like a voucher is probably the best thing if you're gonna buy somebody something, because everybody will go and buy clothes, and you know, you end up with this fucking stockpile of shit, and it's amazing that you get the help, but half of the time you're like, I don't even know where this came from. I don't even know who bought us this. Do we ever get round to wearing it? You know what I mean? But yeah, I would just throw yourself in the mix. Don't leave it up to someone to fucking tell you how you can help them. Just go round and do some shit. Kelly Doherty. As soon as it's safe to travel again, is there anywhere where you and Maury want to take Eddie on his first holiday? Well, yeah, I think there's plenty of fucking places in Ireland we would like to go. You know, we've been it was a thing to go to Donegal fairly frequently, and I'd love to go up there with a bit of good weather. Maureen has family in like the south of England, which is a beautiful area. So we talked about like getting a ferry and fucking going a bit of a road trip holiday type thing. Would love to do that. So yeah, shit like that. And then I don't know why it appeals to me recently, but just to have like some shitty fucking package holiday where, you know, you can get a shitty cocktail and there's a buffet full of sausage rolls in fucking Santa Ponza or something. That appeals to me for some reason. Here, shout out to the squeaky chair. Weed is so tiny in that. Only a couple of questions left. This one might be a sort of short one today. Battered chicken burgers or breadcrumbs, KFC style. I personally despise the battered variety. Here, we're getting it. We're hitting it. The big issues here at the General Banter Q+A. Battered chicken burgers or breadcrumbs. I personally despise the battered variety. Such a letdown when you get a chicken burger from somewhere for the first time, only to open it and it's battered chicken. Johnny, do you know what? It's a tough life out there, isn't it? You know, you just don't know the struggles that some people are going through inside. You know, they're fighting their own fight. So, this is why you got to be kind to people. You don't know what people are going through. Some people are opening burgers and it's fucking battered, you know, and then so is their soul. But yeah, it's got it. I mean, the best chicken burger I ever had was a satay chicken burger. It wasn't battered or breadcrumbed at all. It was just a fucking chicken fillet, as it should be. How are you finding it back? Or wait a minute. Yeah, we've got a couple more questions. How are you finding it back in the office? Is it handier than being at home? It's definitely way more productive. And it's good advice for anyone out there who's like self-employed or whatever. You have to have a different space where you do your work, where there's like no distractions. We don't even have good internet here, which I think might actually help the whole fucking process. But yeah, it's way handier. Do a bit of extra driving, but you're sort of containing your work to 2 days instead of smearing it across your week, fucking the whole time up. So, yep. We've got a final question here. This will be a short Q&A, just a wee bit of shit on a Sunday for you to listen to. Scott McMurray, being a comedian with so many good mates who are comedians, they're not my fucking mates. Do you find it boring or dull hanging out with regular people? Because obviously everyone thinks they're funny, but when you do it professionally, I imagine you have a higher standard for banter. Or do comedians just enjoy shit banter as much as the rest of us? No, I mean, there's definitely it's definitely more fun. And sometimes you don't realize it till you're doing it. You know, you can talk to normal people and, chill out, have a bit of crack or whatever. But only when you're in a room with like 8 comedians do you very quickly realize you're like, oh yeah, this is what we're in it for. And no one takes anything, too thick, or like no one's offended, or you can just you can basically bully someone for a good, the whole evening, and know that maybe the next time you turn up, it's going to be your turn. So yeah, there's nothing better. If you're in a fucking green room with like eight comedians or something, it's just firing off all over the place. And that's about the only bit I miss about actually doing comedy. Like doing the actual stand-up, I couldn't give a fuck about. But hanging about with comedians, you do miss it a fair bit. Even Mickey Bartlett phoned me up yesterday, asking like, was a bit funny. And he's like, "Is this bit funny?" And then proceeded to tell me, a 7-minute story about fingering. And you're not ringing, someone you work with for that shit. Desi, what do you think that's fingering bit? You just don't get it. But fuck, I do miss hanging out with comedians, and that's made me sad. But I think that's all the questions we have for today's Q&A. We'll call it a day there. We've got plenty more cool shit coming out this week. It's the 12th next week. I didn't know. I only found out recently that if the 12th falls on a Sunday, the hardcore loyalists will move it to a different day. So there you go. That's how sacred it is. You can just move it to the 13th. Anyway, we'll get the fuck out of here. We'll be back on Tuesday with another podcast, hopefully, if there isn't any roadblocks. And I'm away to practice my flute, so I'll see you on Tuesday. Take her easy.